next for me? And at 42, I'm feeling unaccomplished, and in certain moments of my human experience, really feeling an overwhelming sense of loneliness. On this journey, on this learning journey, I feel like it's time. It is time. It is time to give myself what I've always wanted. A valuable life. Honestly, I've just been living so long and haven't accomplished what I set out to accomplish. Like, I honestly, I feel like I failed my vision. And you know, when that happens, I don't feel like we take full accountability. Like, we'll say things like, oh, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. And if you're religious, then you're like, oh, I guess it just wasn't in God's plan. Okay, I guess I'm done doing my nails because this isn't God's plan. But I think the fact is that we don't understand key components of creating a goal, accomplishing the goal. You know what I'm saying? And making the vision and the dreams tangible, right? So taking what's in here and putting it out there into the ether. And you know what? Here's the thing. There's a lot of work that goes into this thing. Work. Yes. That's a big one that we must work on. And the truth is, I struggle with laziness, procrastination, and doubt. So when I was a kid, I was raised in the projects. And my mother would my mama don't like that. My mama says public housing. So I was raised in public housing. And during that time, I didn't go outside as much. I mean, I went outside a little bit, but my mother really prevented me from going outside and mingling with the other kids because, in her words, they were dirty. And to be fair, you know how it is with a lot of low-income families. Unfortunately, hygiene is questionable. I mean, so I did hang out with the other kids, but not as often. So there were like a lot of days that went unaccounted for because I spent like a huge chunk of time, I'm tearing this candy up. It's a cough drop. I swear it's candy. But speaking of when I was younger, I couldn't eat candy. So the only type of candy I could have, and I guess it's not quote unquote candy, I guess it really is candy. The only type of candy that I would eat was peppermint. My mom didn't find anything wrong with that. You know, because you need to have fresh breath, you know. So to this day, like I get my jollies off on a good peppermint or a good cough drop. Anyway, yeah, I feel like, so for the most part, there were a lot of days that went unaccounted for because we spent a lot of time in the house. I spent a huge chunk of my time in the bedroom, in the house, because according to my mother, like, she was dealing with depression. So while she slept the day away, I did too. And then I would also, to keep me entertained, I would create these stories, right, in my head to the music that played on the radio. And now that I think about it, I'm totally having a light bulb moment. Like, all those years, I've never thought about that until I was sitting here actually writing and coming up with the details of this particular video. Like, I've never considered myself, like, me actually wanting to be a performer was literally as a result of me entertaining myself as a kid. You know, I had the aspirations to follow in the footsteps of the folks who influenced me, influenced the world,
right? Makes sense. What person didn't want that? And I think mainly it's because people love the fame, the adoration, right? Especially if you're dealing with drama as a child, or even if you're dealing with childhood trauma, which is rough, right? But I never considered the fact that I wanted to do this thing wasn't because there was like this innate thing. Although my mom and my dad and my grandmother, they're all like very performative people. So I guess it is somewhat in the DNA, in the bloodline. But just because you're performative, it does not mean that that's necessarily your path or calling. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. It just, wow. As I was sitting here, like creating this whole script for the video, I was thinking like, that's interesting. A little therapy moment.
And here's the thing, that part in my life during that time, that's when I actually I wanted to do the work. I love the idea of moving my body. It actually feels quite limiting when all you can do is just envision the activity. I mean, thankfully enough, I had the imagination because it helped me, like I said, like it entertained me. So it definitely helped with boredom and feeling lonely, but I definitely wanted to put the action behind it. So what we don't realize when we get older, and the world in which we live, this society that we live in, says, without saying it, that the vision that you have in your head that you've used as a coping mechanism cannot be tangible, because you have to earn your keep in this society. Because let's be real, it takes actually conditioning your mind, body, and spirit coherence in order to make this thing pop. And earning your keep means getting a job to keep the hungry, greedy, fat hippo fed. And to cope with this unhealthy, unhappy reality, a lot of us actually indulge in unfavorable things. Sex, alcohol, drugs, the desire to earn more money like the greedy hippos. And you know, it's crazy because once you've done all of that, and the reality is you're mentally exhausted, you're spiritually drained, or you just don't even have the mental capacity to do anything else. Then the unthinkable happens. Your flame is either dimmed or it gets blown out altogether. So I mean, yeah, I wanted to be the big time singer, songwriter, performer. And I guess it's because of the people that I observe, like Michael, Janet, Madonna, you know what I mean, Whitney. And that's actually why I moved to New York to begin with. And for some reason, couldn't get plugged in. Maybe I didn't have the work ethic, the confidence, maybe all of the above. And that's probably the truth that I have to work through now. But honestly, and although I can still do it now, I just don't see the outcome. I don't see the end result, the end goal like I used to at one point. I mean, I still do record and sing and perform. It's a way of expressing myself just as a hobby. But yeah, it's not a thing for me anymore. And truth be told, like that was the whole reason for me even moving to New York. And just, I don't know, I couldn't get plugged in. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. And I feel like the hardest thing that I still struggle with, even to this day right now, is like being on go and staying on go. That's huge. As Oprah would say, what is the next best move? It's confusing. The truth is, this whole thing is really confusing, right? All I know is I need to make a change. Fast. Because like whatever I'm doing or not doing, it's just not working. I mean, or maybe it is. I've definitely come to a place where I can tell the truth on myself. And I think that that's huge because we live in a world where people love the illusory self. They love delusion, you know? They love pretending that things is going in a particular direction and it isn't. I don't play those games with myself. I love to be honest with myself. And I did a lot of work, a lot of mental transforming to even get me to this point. You know what I'm saying? But I think I need a total life reset. And in recent months, maybe even a year, I've been feeling like just ready to go. I'm ready to go. Because if I continue in this direction, honestly, nothing is going to happen the same as it has been for the past 20 years. Okay. So what I've decided to do is pick one thing. Now I can do other things. I can still do my hobby. I can still sing. I, have the transformational workshops that I'm working on and the meetings that I'm doing. And if anybody needs help, I'll definitely plug in and connect where I see fit. But I've decided to focus on one thing. And this has been something that I've actually wanted to do for a long time, especially after moving to New York, okay? So the one thing that I've always wanted to do is travel, like just travel. And I've always had this sense, and for the past maybe year or so, in every couple of months or so, it gets increasingly more like this feeling just comes and more, and I kind of like get away from it, and I feel like I just want to run away. And the thing is, one thing that I noticed when I was younger, I was always keen on like running away. When things got too difficult, too challenged, I would just run away, right? So I don't necessarily want to call myself like running away, but I do want to travel, like real life travel, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to travel so bad. Like, I want to do what they call the white shit. I want to go backpacking. I don't want to be killed in the woods. I'm not even going to speak that into existence. But I definitely want to go traveling. I want to do the backpacking. I want to do like bicycling as long and far as these thighs would take me, darling. I already do little hikes here and there around here in the parks and stuff, but I want to go. I want to experience different cultures. And I'm gonna tell you something, man, when I lived in New York, that was like such the thing, and I thought to myself that I was literally going to continue on that journey. Honestly, I really did. And then I had a moment where I thought, you know what, just stick to the singing thing and that will help you travel. And then that didn't work out. Then it was always like one thing after another. And now I'm at the position and place in my life where I no longer just want to wish for it. I'm learning in order to get the life that you want, it takes strategic planning, setting your intentions, writing out those goals, stair-stepping those goals, making those goals tangible, and fucking going for it, bro. Like, literally, just go for it, okay? Like, I'm gonna tell you something. During the pandemic, I was on to this van life thing, and that was that was 5 years ago. That was freaking 5 years ago, and I was so into it. I was writing down all the things that I would need, and then, oof, it didn't go away because I kept thinking about it, but I never set up a real
way of doing it. Do you know what I mean? I never said, okay, let's take it step by step, step by step, day by day. I didn't do that. And it's like, here we go, like nothing in place. So, this is what I propose to myself. I'm going to plan this thing out thoroughly. This is going to be literally my first time ever planning anything out strategically. And I know it's not going to be 100%. It doesn't have to be 100%, but it's so much better than what I did before. And the idea is to do something that you've never done before if you want to go where you've never went. Wait. That sounds profound, but I don't think that's accurate. In order to get what you've never had before and go where you've never been before, you have to do what you've never done before. How's that? Here's the thing. Am I a little bit nervous to plan this thing out? Yes. I'm also very nervous about making this video. Well, the video has been fun making, but I'm a little bit nervous about publishing the video. Now, granted, the great thing is I'm expecting low views on this thing, so that's great. I'm gonna tell you something. The fear has always been with this and other projects that I've done. What if I can't see it through and push through? What if I get distracted? What if I'm no longer interested? What if? So I'm gonna put this out there. The whole reason for me documenting this is to keep me accountable. And also, like I said in my previous video, I also want to document the transformation. So this is a huge transformation piece for me because, again, I've never, ever planned out anything. I didn't know you did have to plan out anything. I really didn't. So now that I understand where I went wrong, I want to pick an endeavor that I've always wanted to do, that I better do now, because it's one of those things, honey, if I don't do it now, oh, churl. I mean, I don't plan on dying anytime soon, but we don't know what our expiration is. So it's like, it's one of those, it's giving now or never, boo boop. Do you know what I mean? Because the more I get caught up in other people's lives, family lives, the more that I introduce people into my lives and get looped in, the more I disconnect from myself, my vision, and what I want. And for some reason or another, I will tell you the blessing in all of this, whether you believe it or not, the fact that I really do have to take this into account, the fact that I still have my youth, right? The fact that I'm still vibrant, the fact that I still have my faculties, that's something to be grateful for, okay? That is not a small feat. That is not something to sleep on. It's not something to ignore. To come this far, and although I feel unaccomplished, but to see that there's just so much more life in me, and just to sit here and do nothing, not even if I am struggling with procrastination, laziness, and all of these, early childhood programming. That's why I told you the story earlier. The fact that I can still go, I don't want to take that for granted. I really don't. So yeah, I'm committed while here, creating a life on the outside that matches that happy personality that I have on the inside. This should be fun. I'm Treva from Philly, and this is my journey. Stay tuned.